I'm 94 years old, and being 25 is the biggest lie you've been sold. You were taught that youth is freedom, that youth is clarity, that youth is the moment where life really begins. From where I stand, that belief has ruined more lives than it has helped, because it convinces people they are at the best point of their life, right before they start wasting it. If you're young and listening to this, you probably think I've forgotten what it feels like to be your age. I haven't. I remember it very clearly. I lived through it. I lived past it, and I watched what that belief did to the people who never questioned it. The problem with being 25 isn't that you don't know enough. It's that you're absolutely certain about things that aren't true. And by the time that certainty breaks, your life is already shaped around it. Age, to me, is not a number you feel in your bones every morning. It's just another year you live, another layer of experience added on top of the last. And most of the time, I forget how old I am until someone reminds me. What matters is not how old you are, but what you are still doing with your days. Because the moment you stop engaging with life, the moment you decide to sit still and watch it pass by without participating, something inside you begins to shut down long before your body does. People think living long is about avoiding risk, avoiding effort, or slowing down as much as possible. But from where I stand, living long has far more to do with staying honest with yourself about what keeps you alive inside. I have seen people much younger than me give up early, not because their bodies failed them, but because they decided there was nothing left worth doing. And once that belief settles in, age catches up very quickly. At 94, I am not interested in going backward. I am interested in staying present, involved, and awake in the life I still have. I worked my whole life, and not because I believed work was a virtue in itself, but because I chose to do things I actually liked doing. And that made all the difference, because when your days have purpose, your body and mind have a reason to keep showing up. I have never understood this modern obsession with retirement as an end goal, as if the reward for decades of living were to stop living altogether, because I have seen what happens when people wake up with nothing to do, nowhere to go, and no reason to engage beyond filling time. If you retire into inactivity, if your plan is to sit still, watch television, and let the days blur together, you are not resting, you are slowly disconnecting, and once that disconnection sets in, it does not take long for the rest of you to follow. Staying active does not mean exhausting yourself or chasing productivity for its own sake. It means remaining involved, mentally and physically, in something that gives shape to your days, whether that is work, a project, people, or a responsibility you still take seriously. I kept working because I enjoyed what I was doing, and enjoyment matters more than people admit, because liking your work keeps you curious, keeps you learning, and keeps you moving forward instead of turning inward. What I have learned over time is that longevity is not built on comfort alone, but on engagement. And the people who last the longest are rarely the ones who avoid effort. They are the ones who keep choosing to participate in their own lives. As long as you are still doing something that feels meaningful to you, you are not finished, no matter what age you are. And the moment you decide you are done contributing, age arrives much faster than you expect. One of the biggest mistakes I made in my life did not come from ambition or recklessness, but from something much quieter and much more common, which is accepting people at their word and believing that goodwill alone is enough to protect you from disappointment. When you are younger, you want to believe that people mean what they say, that effort will be matched, and that trust will be honored, simply because it feels right to give it. But experience slowly teaches you that honesty with others must begin with honesty with yourself. There were moments when I should have paid closer attention, moments when something felt off but I chose to ignore it, telling myself that things would work out, that people would change, or that it wasn't worth confronting. And each time I did that, I learned the same lesson again, just a little later than necessary. This does not mean becoming suspicious of everyone or closing yourself off emotionally, but it does mean learning to listen to what actions reveal rather than what words promise, because words are easy and consistency is not. I was married young. divorced young, and I chose not to marry again. Not because I rejected the idea of partnership, but because I learned that relationships require clarity, self-respect, and discernment, qualities that take time to develop and are often missing when you are still learning who you are. The greatest gift in my life did not come from getting everything right early on, but from what followed later, my daughter, and then my grandchildren, who taught me that love does not always come in the form you expect, and that some of the most meaningful relationships arrive after you have let go of certain illusions. If there is wisdom here, it is not about avoiding mistakes altogether, but about learning from them honestly, without bitterness, and without pretending you didn't see what you saw when you did. The world I grew up in no longer exists, and I don't say that with nostalgia or bitterness, but with the clarity that comes from having watched change unfold slowly, year after year, until one day you realize that what once felt normal has become unrecognizable. When I was a child, freedom was simple and unspoken. You walked to school, you went home for lunch, you played outside without supervision, and your parents did not lie awake at night wondering if something terrible might happen, because trust was woven into daily life in a way that feels rare now. We were children, and we belonged to the world around us, not locked inside houses, not monitored every minute, and not afraid to move freely. And that sense of safety shaped how we grew, how we related to others, and how we learned to trust. Today, I see a world that moves faster, communicates more, and yet feels less grounded, because while technology has connected us, it has also made people more cautious, more distracted, and often more isolated from one another. I am not saying that everything was better before, because every era has its dangers and its blind spots, but there was a kind of ease, a kind of human closeness that has been slowly replaced by vigilance and fear. Change is inevitable, and resisting it serves no purpose, but pretending that nothing has been lost along the way is just as dishonest, because every advancement comes with a cost, and part of wisdom is being able to see both sides clearly. What concerns me most is not that the world is different, but that many people no longer feel at home in it, and when you lose that sense of belonging, even progress can feel unsettling rather than hopeful. I have lived through times that many people today only know from books, wars that reshaped entire generations, periods of uncertainty when the future felt fragile and unpredictable. And what those years taught me is that fear has always been present in one form or another, no matter the era. When I was young, there was a world war, ration books, shortages, and constant worry about what might come next. And yet life continued, people adapted, and society moved forward, not because fear disappeared, but because people learned to live without letting it consume every thought. That is why I find it difficult to relate to the way people worry today, endlessly, about things they cannot control, watching the news constantly, replaying the same anxieties in their minds as if attention alone could change outcomes that are far beyond individual influence. I used to do that myself, spending time worrying about government's decisions and directions I had no power to alter. Until one day I realized that all that worry was doing was stealing time from my own life, without improving anything in the world. So I stopped. Not because I stopped caring, but because I understood the difference between responsibility and obsession, between staying informed and letting fear dictate how you live your days. I continued to vote, to exercise my rights, to participate where I could, but I refused to give my peace of mind to things that offered no return except anxiety. What history teaches you, if you pay attention, is that the world has always been unstable, and waiting for a perfectly safe or predictable time to live fully means waiting forever. You do not protect yourself by worrying constantly. You protect yourself by choosing where your attention goes, and by not allowing fear to become the main companion of your life. One thing I have learned over the years is that honesty with yourself matters far more than any advice you receive from others, because no amount of guidance can help you if you are not willing to see your own life clearly. People often ask me what the secret is, what habit or discipline allowed me to reach this age feeling the way I do, and my answer is always the same: even if it sounds simple, because simplicity is often where the truth lives. You have to be honest with yourself. If you are unhappy with what you are doing, admit it. If you enjoy your work, protect it. If something drains you, stop pretending it doesn't. Too many people live according to expectations they never agreed to consciously, following paths that looked reasonable from the outside but never felt right on the inside. And over time, that quiet dishonesty takes a toll that shows up in the body, the mind, and the spirit. I also think we place far too much trust in machines and distractions, especially when they begin to replace real presence, real conversation, and real attention, because while technology can be useful, it can also quietly take your life away in small, unnoticed pieces. I see children given phones before they have learned how to be bored, how to imagine, or how to play outside, and adults who cannot sit with one another without checking screens. And I worry, not because technology exists, but because it is being used without restraint or awareness. I do not reject progress. I reject mindlessness. Living well for as long as you can requires that you stay involved, stay active, and stay truthful about how you are spending your time, because the days you lose without noticing them are the ones you never get back. At 94, if there is one thing I would leave behind, one truth I wish more people understood before they spend too many years fighting themselves, it is that living well does not require perfection, speed, or constant achievement, but awareness. You do not need to control everything, fix everything, or understand everything to live a good life. But you do need to be honest about who you are, what you enjoy, and what no longer serves you. Because self-deception is far more exhausting than any hardship life will place in front of you. I have lived a full life not because I avoided mistakes, but because I stayed involved, stayed curious, and refused to sit still waiting for life to happen to me. And that choice, repeated quietly over decades, mattered more than any single decision. If you are young and listening to this, wondering how to reach old age without regret, do not ask yourself how to live longer first. Ask yourself how to live more honestly now, because the habits you form in how you spend your days eventually become the structure of your life. Keep active in what you love. Stay involved with people. Be careful where you place your attention. And above all, be honest with yourself. Because when you are, you stop wasting time pretending to be someone you are not. And that alone can add years to your life that actually feel worth living. I would not go back to being 25. Not because those years were bad, but because I am exactly where a life lived truthfully has brought me. And I would not trade that clarity for anything.